Welcome to episode 91 of Insects for Fun. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of swallowtail butterflies. Unlike the commonly overlooked cabbage whites, swallowtails are some of the most eye-catching and beloved butterflies in the world. Swallowtails belong to the family Papilionidae, which is a somewhat large and diverse family consisting of around 600 species across 31 genera. These butterflies can be found on every continent except Antarctica, and they thrive in a variety of habitats from tropical forests to temperate meadows. The greatest diversity is found in Southeast Asia and East Asia. The lowest diversity is of course the British Isles, with only one species being found there, and then next would be mainland Europe, which only has 12. If you want to know the reasoning for this lack of species, you can find it over on Patreon in an older bonus episode. North America is doing a bit better on diversity with a total of 40 species, and one of those can be found in the Arctic Circle. This Arctic one is called Parnassus arcticus, commonly known as the Siberian Apollo, which really speaks for the altitude and climate that it lives in. So why exactly are they called swallowtails? If you've ever seen the swallow birds, then you'd immediately recognize the similarity: the tails. Swallowtail butterflies have hind wings that extend out in the same way a swallow's tail does, which is where they got the name. These unique wings, along with their bright colors, make them a favorite among butterfly enthusiasts and casual observers alike. The family is not very large when compared to the number of species in other butterfly families, but it makes up for that with the incredible colors, patterns, and even the size of some of these butterflies. The largest butterflies in the world are actually swallowtails, in the genus Ornithoptera, which is where their common name birdwing comes from. If you didn't know, ornithology is the study of birds. The largest butterfly in the world is Queen Alexandra's birdwing, Ornithoptera alexandrae, with a wingspan reaching 27 centimeters. There are honestly so many incredible and notable swallowtail species out there that we'll have to have individual episodes for a lot of them. Today, we're going to do a general overview on the family as a whole and highlight some common species you've probably seen before and some you've probably seen without even realizing it. First up would be the eastern tiger swallowtail, Papilio glaucus. This striking butterfly is easily recognized by its yellow wings with black tiger stripes. It's also got blue and orange spots near the tail. The eastern tiger swallowtail is widespread in North America and can be seen fluttering in gardens, parks, and forests from spring to fall. Another similar species would be the Old World swallowtail, Papilio macaon, which is actually spread throughout North America as well, despite its name. You have to really know what to look for when differentiating macaon with glaucus though, because they both exhibit the same general patterns and coloring. One easy way to tell is by looking at the tails of their wings. Eastern tigers have more of a bulbous and soft rounded tip to their wingtails, and Old World macaon swallowtails have a harsher, non-rounded tip to their wings. The wing coloration is also slightly different. You see, macaon butterflies generally only have one relatively large spot of reddish-orange at the base of their hind wings, while eastern tigers have 2 to 3 small dots of orange/red spread throughout their hind wings. Also, male eastern tigers don't have any blues or oranges on their wings at all. They're only yellow and black, which is unlike the males of macaon swallowtails. Now, there is another look-alike in Canada called Papilion canadensis. This one used to be considered a subspecies of the eastern tiger glaucus, but has since been reclassified. It has a smaller wingspan and has multiple red spots on the hindwings of both males and females. Now, if you happen to live in the eastern half of the United States but not in the Northeast, you might have come across a white and black swallowtail, commonly called the zebra swallowtail. I've never seen one because they're completely absent from New England. You can only find them further south on the coast, like in Delaware, the lower ridge of Pennsylvania, and down to Florida. I might have honestly seen some in Florida, but I don't have vivid memories of any the same way I do for the tigers or the next mention, the black swallowtails, Papilio polyxenes, which was named after the Greek mythological figure Polyxena. As for why, I can't really say for sure, but this character was the daughter of the king of Troy, Priam, and she was known for her beauty, but also apparently in some ways responsible for the death of Achilles, so maybe that's why the black swallowtails got this name. I really need to get a better grasp of the species in Japan because honestly, the more you know about them, the more interesting it is to try and identify ones you see in the wild. So next time I'm in the States in the warmer months, I'm definitely going to keep my eyes out. Swallowtail butterflies are not just pretty to look at though. They also have fascinating life cycles and behaviors. Most, if not all, swallowtail species lay their eggs singly on a variety of host plants, and the caterpillars tend to go through some wild morphological changes as they develop. The caterpillars of the Old World swallowtail start off resembling bird droppings, which is of course a clever disguise. But as they grow, they get strikingly green and black bands with orange spots. The black swallowtail caterpillars start out black with orange-tipped spikes and eventually become big green and smooth caterpillars with bands of black and yellow. One of the most intriguing aspects of swallowtail butterflies is their defense mechanisms. Many swallowtail caterpillars have an organ called the osmeterium, which they can evert to release a foul-smelling substance when threatened. This organ inflates out of the caterpillar's head and usually has a well-defined Y shape. The Pokemon Caterpie is of course modeled after the defense behavior seen in swallowtail caterpillars. This inflated and smelly organ helps deter predators like birds and lizards. Additionally, the eye spots on the wings of many adult swallowtails can confuse or scare off potential attackers. Adults have other ways of protecting themselves though, like Batesian mimicry, which is when an animal mimics a more dangerous animal to avoid predation. Wait, I know you're thinking, yeah, plenty of insects do that, so what's the big deal? Swallowtails get kinda crazy with their mimicry, because not only do some species only exhibit this in females, but some of those same female swallowtails can have multiple different mimics. For example, the female African swallowtails, Papilio dardanus, can mimic males, elderly males, and a separate species entirely. You might be asking yourself why on earth a female butterfly would want to look like a male. And there are two current hypotheses about this. The first is that this actually lures males in due to territorial aggression. Male swallowtails are known for their patrolling behavior, often performing intricate aerial displays to attract females. The second hypothesis for male mimicry is male avoidance, because as it turns out, males of this species Dardanus are aggressive and sexual harassment actually lowers the fitness of the female swallowtails. I think it's probably the second hypothesis that makes the most sense, because there's a lot more evidence to back up that male Dardanus have very little interest in male mimics. Another case of female mimicry can be seen with eastern tiger swallowtails. Papilio glaucus are traditionally yellow, but females can have black and burnt brown morphs as well. The black morphs are a Batesian mimic of another black swallowtail species called Batis filinor. But the point here is that swallowtails can not only have gender-segregated mimicry, but also exhibit polymorphism within a single species. Now, let's explore some of their feeding habits. Adult swallowtails are nectar feeders, and they play an important role in pollination. They have a particular affinity for brightly colored flowers like milkweeds, thistles, and zinnias. Their long proboscis allows them to reach deep into flowers to access nectar that other insects might not be able to reach, and they're a much-needed pollinator source for those deep flowers. The caterpillars, on the other hand, have a wide diet that is highly dependent on the species and the geographic location. The eggs of swallowtail butterflies are usually small and spherical, often laid on the underside of leaves to provide some protection from predators and harsh weather. But not all of them are laid on the underside. Depending on the species and environmental conditions, the eggs can take anywhere from a few days to a couple of weeks to hatch. Once the eggs hatch, the tiny caterpillars begin their journey of growth and transformation. They go through 5 molts known as instars, shedding their skin each time and changing their appearance. After reaching their final instar, they can form a chrysalis, which is sturdy enough to protect the colder living species from freezing to death in those winter months. Swallowtails, unlike monarchs, are not known to be migratory, and they have to hunker down in the winter by entering a state of diapause. Interestingly, the chrysalids also vary in color depending on the season and whether or not they will diapause. Brown is the default for a chrysalis made in fall, while green is the color they tend to be in the warmer months. Swallowtail butterflies face various threats in the wild, including habitat loss, climate change, and predators. Birds, spiders, and other insects are among their natural predators. But despite these challenges, swallowtail butterflies continue to thrive and captivate us with their beauty and resilience. They are a testament to the incredible diversity and adaptability of the natural world. And that's going to wrap up today's episode on swallowtail butterflies. I hope you enjoyed learning about these magnificent creatures as much as I enjoyed doing research. And don't forget to rate and review the show on your favorite platforms. It really helps me out. And if you want more content, you can check out the Patreon for bonus episodes, ad-free episodes, vlogs, and more. You can find all the links in the show notes, including the Instagram and Facebook page. Thanks again for tuning in, and until next time, keep your eyes peeled for those wild swallowtails.